and welcome to tonight's episode of Party of Two, where a married couple takes on a world of gods and monsters and constantly has technical issues.
There's just always something to change.
There's always something. You guys, there's always something. Anyway, we are so excited to be here tonight and to continue our story of Andoriana and Az, the Azimir, who was named so brilliantly.
He didn't actually have a name. You said that you'd name him at some point.
I know, she's going to. She's just like, it's only been like 2 days.
We'll see if he's willing to accept it, though.
It's true. Anyway, we are so excited to be here. Thank you so much for waiting while we got everything going on our side. But I am Hayley Bell, your GM for this story arc.
And I am Weston. I will be your player character, as she said, playing as the Azimir cleric sorcerer. And your character...
Andoriana,
which is a...
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. She is a tiefling. I'm a little frazzled today. She is a tiefling fighter champion, and she is badass. That's all there is to it.
She is.
It's true. Anyway, so we have a couple of announcements, and then we are going to get started a little bit differently today than we normally do, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. First announcement. We are officially affiliate with Twitch, so we can accept your willing subscriptions.
Yes, we can.
But we did want to make sure everybody knows if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can actually get a Twitch channel subscription completely free.
For free?
For free!
What? And get everything that the other subscribers get?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so if you have an Amazon Prime account and you're not currently using your Twitch subscription, you can connect the two platforms and you will get a free subscription and you can subscribe to our channel. We are doing a special watch party at 5 subscribers. That is going to be super fun. We are going to be watching. Have we decided officially that's what we're watching? Or are we still doing a poll until we get 5 subscribers?
we got the poll. I mean, we could poll again if you want to. We did get votes. We didn't get any votes for Dudes and Dragons.
Yeah, so we were doing a poll between Dudes and
Dragons from 2016 and Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer, there we go. And Dragon Slayer from 1983 actually got the most, or 1984 actually got all of the votes from our previous poll.
Oh, no, it's 1981.
Oh, 1981. Jeez.
Yeah, it is older than I am.
Well, that's fun. So we are going to be watching that movie, kind of Mystery Science 3000, where we're going to do a watch party, and only our subscribers will be able to comment in the chat and interact with us and whatnot. So as soon as we hit 5 subscribers, we will be doing that fun watch party. So we're only 2 subscribers away. Just two.
Yep.
So if you have an Amazon Prime account, connect it. You can subscribe. Anyway, that's enough on that. We have a podcast. This entire show is done in podcast form. It is on all of the podcasting networks. Well, not all of them, all the major ones. And we recently just added Amazon and Audible. So those two are also available to you if you listen to those platforms. The podcast is now there as well.
Yep.
So do we have anything else, Wes?
Below, we do have, there is a link below to donate for charity. This goes to the Utah
Parent Center.
I can never remember for some reason.
The Utah Parent Center.
They are a organization that helps parents who have children with special needs and autism, which is how we got connected with them. They have been amazing. They have helped us out with schools, with what our rights are, what resources are available. So please, if you can, go below and donate. All donations go to
directly to them,
and they run off donations, so they always need more help.
Yep, they run a completely profit-free organization, so donations are awesome.
Video on demand, as usual, will be available if you're a subscriber directly after.
Right after.
But if you are not, it will be available on YouTube on Friday. You can find us at Party of Two RPG, one word, on YouTube.
Like one Party of Two RPG. It's all one thing. I don't know what that was. All right.
I don't think we have any other. We do have. You will be on some additional streams.
Oh, Geez, yeah. Okay, so Thursday night, Weston and I are going to be appearing on a interview live stream show called Flows for You. It's run by a DJ, and he does this really cool music mix thing at the very end that incorporates things that we talked about during the interview. So Weston and I are going to be interviewed. That's going to be really fun. We will be hosting it on this channel. It's at 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And then Friday night, I get to dive into the world of D&D. I will be playing with the group at midlife_dices, and we are playing a D&D one-shot that is a homebrewed campaign in a homebrewed world by one of the DMs who has been featured on that panel show. So I'm really excited. I get to play a 5'2", blonde-haired, blue-eyed barbarian, and she's got crazy stats.
Yeah, they rolled for stats the other day, and
It was 18, 17, 16, and 2 15s. What?
So you want to go see some barbarian smashing?
Yeah, a massive OP barbarian.
So we will also be hosting that here.
Yes.
On this channel. So tune in to watch that. And watch as Hayley goes and smashes as a character in the world of D&D as opposed to our Pathfinder.
Our Pathfinder world. I know. My comment while I was creating the character was, I want it to be Grog Strongjaw, but in a teeny tiny little body.
If Pike was
Grog, because she's tiny. Anyway, all right, cool. So I think that's all of our announcements. Like I said, we're going to start tonight out a little bit different with kind of a reminiscence of what happened last week. So, Weston, roll the tape.
All right.
Hopefully it works.
Hopefully it works. And rolling.
Now that I have you alone. The man sitting at the desk was half covered in shadow. Only the flickers of a small candelabra lit his face. The moving shadows softened the jagged wound at the side of his neck, but couldn't make it look any less ugly. A knock at the door stopped his hand writing across the page. "Come," he said. The door opened on silent hinges. However, the three figures beyond are anything but silent. A man walks into the room, chains swinging from his belt. The armor hits the ground with the rough clunk, clunk with every step, while the great sword at his back peeks menacingly over his shoulders. A single move, and it would be in his hands. The man behind the desk stands. "Master of Blades, Mardinus. So good of you to come on such short notice, and you've brought your companions." Mardinus nods and says, "Titus?" His voice is very deep, short, and to the point. Behind him, stepping into the room, are 2 additional Hell Knights, dressed in similar armor, with only 2 chains hanging down from their left sides, signifying their high station in the order of the chain. "We received your message and came, as requested." He motions to the 2 people behind him. "Sandera and Adam, my best." Sandera, a woman a few inches shorter than Mardinus' 6 feet. She has long features with a sloping jaw and high cheekbones, and she would be beautiful if it weren't for the massive scarring on her face in the form of 3 large claws marking her from eyebrow to chin. Adam, a beast of a man standing well over 6'5". As a follower of Zon Kuthon, his devotions show on his skin. His face and hands are scarred by thousands of small cuts made over time, all at different stages of healing. Titus reaches across the desk and hands Mardinus a single folder. Mardinus takes it and flips it open to reveal 2 pages. The first shows a young tiefling woman, light skin, 2 small black horns, and a list of known abilities and skills beneath. The second shows a portrait of a white-haired man, beautiful to see, dressed in common slave robes, eyes downcast. Mardinus hands the papers to Sandera, then turns back to Titus. "These are the runaway slaves. This one," he points to the young woman, "is dressed as a Hell Knight." A light voice pipes from the shadowed corner where he'd been lurking. "Yes, she is a Hell Knight. From this order, in fact." and out of the shadows comes a white-skinned, white-haired gnome, Cuthwaldwyn. But it isn't the woman we need. It's the man. He hid something from me, something that is rightfully mine, and I want it back, Titus says. And what would that be? Mardinas asks. Titus pauses for a moment, thinking, before continuing. His magic. Welcome back. When we left off with Az and Anduriana and their party, they had just stopped at a inn and tavern in the small town of Canapé. The halflings all piled into one room after a long, exhausting day of saving Sir Michael St. Clair, a very boisterous merchant, to the Domina of Kintargo. And at this tavern, they sat down to have a drink with a group of rogue, ruffian-type individuals who turned out to be hunters. And I would like to retcon something about this. After the break from last week, I accidentally changed their names. So I would like to apologize about that and let you guys know I did go back and I read it to make sure that it was correct, and their names are Boris, Victor, and Kartak. We GMs are not infallible. After having
don't tell anyone that.
Don't tell anybody. After having an interesting evening and conversation with that, Andoriana and Az returned to their rooms, which they thought would be separate, but the halflings had all piled into one room together, leaving a single room for Andoriana and Az to sleep in at the same time. Not together, just at the same time. Anna ended up actually waking Az up in a fit of nightmares and dreams, and divulged that she has been unable to sleep well since they left Cheliax and left Enfarak, hearing the screams of those souls stuck in the crystal that they had to leave behind. And that is where we are going to start. The morning has now come to the small town of Canapé. The sunlight is streaming down through the window, which you, as have been positioned at sleeping through the night, where your halo has given comfort to Anna through the night, and you see that she is still there in bed, asleep, as you awake.
So I'm going to, of course, take the first part of my morning to open up, look through my spell books, and connect with Nephis through study to get my spells for the day.
All right. Cool.
Switch out a couple of different ones. Work on referencing spells that I think I might need to use that day.
All right, cool.
And since it's day, I'd let the halo
drop.
Go away.
At that point. As you are going through your book and you're kind of figuring out what spells you want to make sure that you have for the day, Anna does slowly begin to wake up. And as she's kind of stretching and moving, you hear a very light rapping against the door. And you hear Farmer Magdalene's voice. Az, are you awake?
He comes to the door quickly, opening it, slightly, just to poke his. Yes.
It looks like everyone else is kind of starting to get ready to go. I think we're doing breakfast.
Once he sees that it's just her and there's nobody
else with her.
He opens the door all the way.
And Anna is moving to sit up in bed, and she's kind of rubbing the sleep out of her eyes. And Farmer Magdalene makes absolutely no.
Someone redeemed a hero point.
Thanks, Darren C. He needs them.
Yes, I will.
She starts to rub the sleep out of her eyes and just looks out the door and says, "Oh, good morning, Magdalene. Are we getting ready to go?" Magdalene nods and says, "Yeah, the halflings are already, Tip, Brennan, and Steve are ready to anxiously get moving." And she kind of giggles at that, like they've been anxious this entire time.
Magdalene,
Yes.
we need to talk about the road ahead.
And she immediately puts one hand up, and she kind of looks up and down the corridor and steps into the room, and turns around and shuts the door behind her.
We need to decide if we want to continue with these individuals that have been of use up to this point, but I do not know what to expect in this road ahead. Having additional individuals can be helpful. The cart can be helpful. We have lost our horse. He left the other day.
Yes, he did. He did turn around and leave.
The cart could be helpful, but would also make it more difficult since we are now more people than the cart can hold.
That is true. However, I have been speaking with Tip and Brennan and Steve, and they all have kind of agreed that they would like to stay with the merchant carts as there is more safety in numbers and less likely to run into things like that clan
Thank
of
you.
bugbears. Thank you. I'm never going to get used to that sound. To the clan of bugbears that had attacked previously. If we had been alone and they hadn't not attacked the merchant caravan ahead of us,
They would have attacked us.
we would have been dead. So
Well.
discussing this with the others, I think it's a good idea that we stay with the merchant vessel at this moment, or merchant caravan at this moment. Do you not agree?
I do. This Michael seems to have contacts that could be beneficial. He seems to be well connected with the nobility. Apparently, he makes the garments for the what is the title of their queen?
The Domina?
Yes.
Wow.
He is well connected, and the Council of Peers will be meeting. We talked with some individuals down in the common rooms last night, and the Council of Peers will be happening. He is going there to provide garments for many of the nobility. There could be contacts that having his favor may open doors.
All right. So then we are in agreement. We will stay with them as long as we get to Cantargo.
Yes.
And she kind of leans back against the door a little bit, and she's like, "You have to explain something. I would have thought meeting another Azamir, especially one who's young, who you can teach, since you are such a teacher and nurturer, I would have thought it would have been a good thing. But you seem nothing but annoyed."
Why would that be a good thing?
I don't
has
know.
Been nothing but difficulty and curse for me. There's no reason I would.
You feel no kinship toward young Sophie.
I feel pity.
Why? And Anna leans forward and she says, "Yeah, she's a 15-year-old girl. You have to help her, obviously. You are helping her, but you're being a brat about it."
I help her because it will help our case with Sir Michael. I help her because I feel sorry for the life she will lead. But I would rather be with a group of goblins.
All right. And Anna is visibly very surprised by this. Farmer Magdalene less so. She kind of is like, okay. But Anna is very surprised at the level of animosity at which you are showing at this point.
Let me be clear. I have no, how do I say this? It is akin to... I have no issue with the girl. Other than that she is naive.
And she has a little bit of a little
Aye.
thing with you, and Anna kind of like is kind of ribs you a little bit with her elbow.
She is a reminder of what I deal with.
What, just being an Asmir?
Yes.
Right,
Well,
I'm not going to say
we
that...
better get ready for the day.
I know. Well, hold on. I'm not going to say I don't understand. But at the same time, at the very least, try to hide it a little more. Magdalene and I noticed. She will eventually as well.
You noticed when we began. I have been nothing but gracious. I slept a moment when I saw her.
I slept most of the time in the carriage, so I don't really know what that was like.
And if the GM will remember, I rolled high.
You did. You rolled really high.
I rolled really high on.
All right. And Farmer Magdalene turns around and says, all right, okay, so let's go downstairs. Let's get food. Let's get ready to go. Is there anything that is going to delay us getting out the door? I just don't want any surprises.
I have a quick errand to run to the general store. Here it is nearby. Do we need any supplies? Since I will be there.
Yes, actually, if you could get some rations. I imagine Sir Michael has things on hand for his trip. But if you would get some additional rations and supplies for the next, 2 or 3 days. It's another 2 days until we get to the next town. So.
Yes, I can do that. I have some gold.
Okay, all right, great. And Farmer Magdalene walks out the door. Anna grabs her knapsack, her sling bag, and
fanny pack,
and comes out the door with as you both kind of walk down the stairs, and she grabs the rock, the little jewelry case that had the little rocks in them.
Yes.
And she pulls those out and says, "Do you think that we could sell these here? Or should we wait until we're farther into Kintago? Or not into Kintago, up to Kintago." I get so confused.
There are two ways to look at this. One, we here they probably do not run into something like this, so it'll be a little more novel here.
But do you think they could pay even a portion?
But they might not also have as much use for it. I would see what they would give. I mean, worst case scenario, you do not sell.
She pulls out the box and she's looking at the turquoise and flips it open and is just kind of fingering it a little bit while you walk down the stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs, she flips it shut, puts it back in her sack and says, I think I'm going to wait. I think we'll wait until we can possibly get something better out of it. Because I have a feeling this area is not going to be very big on filigree.
They are more on survival, I would imagine.
Yes, exactly. And once you get down to the bottom of the stairs, you hear a very boisterous, "Oh, hello, my good friends. Please, come. We have food. We have all of the things. Please come." And you see across the room near the fireplace with 2 tables put together is Sir Michael, Sophie, and Ulfric are already sitting there. And the 2 tables have been pushed together, and it is covered with every type of breakfast, lunch, and dinner foods that you could imagine.
I'd like to roll a deception check to be how happy I am to see him.
All right.
Ooh, 16 plus 11, so that's a 27.
Nice. Okay, 27. You are able to hide it very well, and Sir Michael has no idea of the apparent disdain.
It's not disdain, but it's just... Okay, another day of this.
Well, okay, I guess.
It's the equivalent of how you feel waking up when our kids are like, "Mommy, look what I did."
And they've woken up 3 times in the night at that point as well? Yeah,
That's
okay.
A bit more of that.
Yep, I got it. So you are, what do you want to do? Do you want to go over to them? Do you want to go to the bar
I
first?
go over him to him directly. Tis so good to see you, Sir Michael. Did you sleep well?
Yes, yes, we slept very well. Sophie had, I think, possibly the best night of sleep in her entire life. And Sophie immediately stands as you get to the table, and she points to the chair next to her, and she says, "As I have saved a seat for you if you would like to come sit by me."
Oh, thank you so much. I do have a quick errand I must run before I dine. I will be back quickly.
Okay. And she visibly kind of crumples a little bit. And Anna says, "Don't worry, dear. We're just going to the market across the way. We're going to get some food for the travels. No worry." And Sir Michael looks up at that and says, "Oh, could you possibly see if they have any produce to come with us as well? Possibly some apples or some what would they even have here?" And he kind of like looks down at the table to see that they only have apples. There's only apples. So he's like, "Okay,
I believe
apples
that
it is."
the apples are the produce of the area.
Yes, of course. Well, if you could get some apples, of course, the horses absolutely love that. Oh, carrots and any root vegetables as well would be parfait, mon ami. And Anna just kind of is like giggling because you've suddenly become a ticket taker, an order taker.
Yes, I will be more than happy to help.
Merci beaucoup. And Sir Michael kind of turns back to the food. You have obviously been dismissed in this moment.
Great.
And
Az takes his chance to walk out.
And
the door.
Anna comes behind you, just chuckling, her tail kind of like curling a little bit with her laughter.
Leave it alone, Anna.
I didn't say a damn thing.
This is not funny.
I'm not laughing, obviously.
Yes, you are.
All right.
Fräulein, you are anything but subtle.
Look, subtlety wasn't exactly something that they trained into me when you are being taught to bash things in the head and kill demons on a regular basis. Subtlety was not an art.
This is true. Okay, let us
continue. And she points to the stone edifice store that's just across the way.
It's like a sign, so next time I realized
Well,
we
it
forgot to
says-
get directions again.
Well, no, because if you remember this courtyard, there's only like 4 major buildings,
really small.
And then there's a couple of smaller like houses and stuff that you can see like in small alleyway type back areas, but like it's really obvious. It's like those towns you drive through that there's literally one street and everything is on that one
So
street.
it's Baker, California.
Yes, it's Baker, California, or Perry, Utah.
There we go.
Either of those places, or Podunksville, USA. So she kind of Anna points to it over there, and you do see movement behind the windows. It is a fairly large edifice. It was done to withstand some good work and withstand like storms and to hold up over time. It's a really nicely made building. You do see the main archway that has the door. As you were approaching, the large door, the wooden door, does get pushed open to kind of indicate we are now open, since there are no open signs. You see an older gentleman kind of put a little bit of a rock in front of the door and then turn around and walk back into the darkness into the inside.
Sir, you open for business?
He flips around and sees you and says, "Oh, yeah, we are. Come on in. I just opened. Just 1 second." And he walks through you see that the building is now, as you're stepping through the doorway, the building is split in two. One half, there's a very large staircase that is in the center, right next to that doorway. So there's the door, and then if you walked forward, there's a staircase that goes up. And then on the left-hand side, there is an obvious kind of like sitting area with a few desks. There is an individual sitting at one of those desks on the far side, looks to be some type of guard or like police person in that instance, like over there. And then on the right hand side, you see what looks to be a fairly small little general store. Think like Western, like 1780s.
Yeah.
I
get
but
that. I can get
in
that.
stone.
The general gist of it.
The general idea of it. So the gentleman walks into the store area and goes back behind his like bar kind of area where you can see that's where he is going to work with merchandise that's behind him. And on the walls, you see lots of different types of items that would be good for like adventuring and for farming and for general household items and little candies. Like this is a general store.
Can I do, as I look around, can I do a crafting check to kind of see how well built the edifice is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that. Ooh. Well, that's a 13, not an 18. I thought it was an 18. 13, but that is still plus 12. So that's still 25.
Yeah. It's a fairly well made place. Like all of the items that he has look to be pretty high quality. It doesn't look like he carries like cheapy trinkets and things like that. Like this is someone who takes pride in his work and what he does and what he carries. The building is very clean and very well maintained.
Okay. So as I walk up, as he walked behind like kind of like the counter and stuff like that, I want to take a minute to try and make an impression.
Okay, give me a diplomacy check.
Improve that, and going to talk about the craftsmanship of his building and the different things.
Oh, you're so good at buttering people up. Oh my gosh.
17 plus 11, so that's a 28. Rolling good tonight.
Charming hearts wherever you go. Okay. What are you going to say?
So, this is a beautiful building you have here. Is it run in your family?
Yes, actually. We had, I think I might be the fourth generation. Yep, fourth generation to be here and to take care of this fine establishment. And I am the proprietor, but it kind of left to me when all of my brothers and sisters died. So, and he kind of wipes his hand on his apron and leans a hand forward and says, my name is Balhorn. It's very nice to meet you.
A pleasure. I'm Friedrich.
Oh, okay. Hello, Friedrich. That's not a name we hear very often around here.
No, I'm traveling with a Sir Michael. He had me down across the border in Cheliax, and I've been traveling with him to added protection and healing. I am a medic.
Well, he definitely is going to need stuff like that. Against a lot of wishes, he decided to start going on the merchant routes again, and it's caused a little bit of a ruckus around here, to be totally honest. But, and then he looks to Anna and says, and who are you? He's very intrigued, and she kind of blushes a little bit, and she's like, my name is Anna. I'm Anna. She's very unused to the level of attention she's getting right now in this town and with all of these people. And he says, well, it's very nice to meet you as well, Anna. We don't see very many tieflings around here either. So thank you for coming. What can I do for you guys today?
Yes, we are in need of some travel food, possibly fruits, apples, if you have any vegetables.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. And he kind of motions for you, and he walks out from behind the counter and goes to a back corner of this large open room that you hadn't seen previously because it was kind of covered by barrels, like a makeshift little wall of barrels.
Oh, one thing, if I can I forgot to mention this. I did use my image hat, illusion hat.
I had assumed that you had done that.
Again this morning.
I had assumed that you had done that again. Cool. So you go So you and Anna follow behind him as he kind of goes around this little makeshift corner, around this makeshift wall, and you see there's a very nice pile of beautiful, like Honeycrisp apples that are there. They're like the big ones that are like the size of your hands that are like the super, super yummy.
Yes.
And there are carrots and there are some potatoes and there's a couple of radishes and a few turnips. And so there's definitely a nice pile of root vegetables. And Anna is going to take a step forward and say, "These look absolutely gorgeous. I don't think I've ever seen an apple that large before. It's like the size of my fist." And she picks it up and is like in total shock at seeing an apple this large. And Ballhorn kind of smiles and says, "Well, we bring them in from the farm, the farmsteads out there every day in the morning, and it's a really great place to get some yummy food, and yeah, they're really great."
Az walks up to the apples and looks around for the one that he can find that has a bruise or has a dent or something like that. Just they look.
Give me a perception check.
Yeah, see if I can find.
I'll see if you can even find one.
25.
Oh, freaking hell. Okay, you can find one.
Okay.
There is one that you can find that has a slight, very slight bruise.
Well, they look adequate. I see there is definitely, they, I imagine, have been, shipped here a little rough in the travel.
Well, if you want to call it shipped, that's the farm. It's the Whitehead farmstead just down around the corner. You can probably walk there in about 25 minutes if you want.
So what do you, generally for, let's say, 2 pounds of these apples, I imagine.
Well, what else are you wanting besides just the apples? You said you wanted root vegetables. I'd like to kind of do an overall instead of a onesie twosie kind of thing. And he turns around and goes back to the counter and grabs a kind of a clipboard and a paper, and he pulls out a pen and he's going to start writing down everything that we're getting. So Anna wants to smack you, and she's giving you a look of absolute what the freaking hell are you doing?
And Az will quickly touch his lips, say listen, and then cast message. And she will hear into her mind as he just mouths it, just trust me. We are low on funds. We cannot afford to pay top dollar.
This is Sir Michael.
He's not paying.
You really think that he sent us over here and he's not going to pay for this?
I have seen it many times before. And so... All right. He of course, kind of lays out, a couple days... of provision type things.
Yeah, so there's
general ideas.
For the number of people that are in the party at this point, there's probably 5 pounds of apples and 6 or 7 pounds of potatoes and carrots. There's going to be enough here to feed the party in its entirety for at least 3 days.
And then also recommendation for the, I don't know if you know, but Sir Michael does have a daughter.
Yeah, little Sophie. She's really cute.
And there was a request, if you have anything of a cosmetic nature. I know it is not.
Is she finally getting old enough to actually need that stuff?
It is the age.
Man, when I remember when she walked in here, she was just like a little toadstool in the meadow. She was so cute, and you just wanted to scoop her up, especially with that little halo she had on top of her. Just a little angel. I can't believe she's old enough to actually... Wow. Well, yeah, we have a few cosmetics. Nothing real major, some rouge and some... We do have a few foundational powders that would work.
Anything that could help? Anything
I don't really think she needs to enhance her image, though. Do you?
You know young women.
Huh.
So anything that you have, I know that Sir Michael would be most grateful. And
absolutely.
Any charcoal?
Yeah, we have some. You just want Do you want pressed
Do
charcoal
you have
or do you want?
such as for using with paper or?
Oh, so you want pressed? Okay, yeah. Yeah, we have a few sticks of pressed charcoal. Actually, just got a new shipment in this last week, which was really great. I don't have to make it myself anymore. And he goes around the counter and he pulls off a really light pink rouge and just a kind of a pale skin toned powder. And then he does get a little package of 5 pressed charcoal sticks and puts them down. And then he kind of, Anna this whole time has been grabbing all of the apples. And she actually has one in her mouth at this point, like straight in. And she brings them all and puts it down and turns around, takes a bite out of the apple and puts the apple down too. And Bullhorn looks over and he's like, quite hungry there, aren't you? And Anna kind of like has a little dribble of apple juice right here. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I haven't had breakfast yet. And we are going to be paying for these things. So I figured you wouldn't mind.
What would it run for the lot?
And he does some quick calculations in his head. And he's like counting everything and then looks at those things like, I'm thinking for all of this, probably 1 gold in totality. That's a pretty good deal considering, especially since we just got that pressed charcoal and there's a lot of people in town that don't even know it's here yet.
Well, I imagine in this town, how much demand do you get for?
Well, there's the school. The school definitely uses it, along with the regular pressed chalk. We do have a few ladies when we do the center ball that like to kind of use the charcoal. And he starts going off and like listing all of these things.
We start a little diplomacy back and forth. I'm gonna counter offer with 7 silver. And
he's going to come back with, I think if we're lowering prices, I'm going to go with a 9. And
8.
2 copper.
8 for the lot.
$8 and 5. You see, he is not a pushover. He 100% has gone around the block 100 times with people about this kind of stuff.
8 and 5.
And Anna leans forward and says, as you are a cheap bastard. And she reaches out and she puts the 1 gold on the table from her knapsack and says, there you go, Bullhorn. It was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. That apple is fantastic. You said it was the Whitehead farm just down the way. Do you think they would be okay if we went and just picked some of it? And she starts chatting with him and giving you the evil eye.
And while you do
seriously,
this, Az turns away a little bit. There's a little cough, and then you hear in your mind as he casts a message, I am going to get you back for this. I know where you sleep. I have pouters, and I know how to make your life miserable.
And she kind of turns to the side a little bit so that Bullhorn doesn't notice this, and as he turns away to kind of grab a couple of things.
Check or anything on these?
Well, no, because you're muttering it into her brain.
Yes, I am.
But she's gonna, as he turns away, she's gonna turn and look at you and be like, "And who will save you when you die?" Exactly. Shut it.
Well, thank you very much. We will get all this back to some bags to.
Of course. Well, if you're just over the way, why don't you go back and I'll have our store hand just kind of pick it all up and take it over to the cart.
Would be well appreciated.
Okay, Sir Michael's carts are very obvious in these parts, so let's just get it all over there for you. Yeah?
Well, thank you for your assistance.
You are very welcome, and you tell that young Sophie she's welcome to come in at any time. She is a sweetie.
I will do.
And Anna, she has the apple again in her hand, and she's like, "Thank you so very much, Bullhorn. It was wonderful to meet you." And he kind of gives a little grin, and he's like, "Well, it was wonderful to meet such a kind woman and a beautiful tiefling." And she kind of pauses at that for a second and is like, "Huh, okay." And then turns around and walks away and follows you out the door. As you come out of the door, you see at the tavern where the caravan, where the carriage and the merchant wagon had been previously the night before. You can see they've kind of been rearranged and moved over to the side, and the two horses are there. However, your beautiful workhorse, because you never named him anything but horse. No.
We named him Siegfried.
Oh, we did! I forgot about that. Yes. Siegfried. Your beautiful horse, Siegfried, is standing at...
He's there?
He is there.
All right.
Standing at the tie-off for the horses. And as you approach, he kind of turns towards you and looks at you initially and then immediately zones in on Anna with the apple. And she giggles.
Yeah,
She's like,
I would.
"Siegfried, it's so good to see you. Oh my goodness!" And she comes up and she gives him a big hug around the neck, and he's kind of like dealing with this until she can back away, and he starts nudging, like totally nuzzling her hand for the apple and starting to lip at it. And she's like, "Oh, you want my apple? I just paid for this apple. You greedy little horse." And then she puts her hand out and gives it to him, and he does the nibble thing at her paw.
Overpaid for that apple.
I did not overpay for that. That was exactly what he asked for. It was a fair price. You were just being stingy.
Any merchant will always give a higher price first and then
and we have the gold. It's fine. I have 80 gold. I am basically as rich as the queen. So
this is the way that we spend it.
But it was 1 gold. I now have 79 gold. I still have gold. What is your problem?
This just hit you.
Don't you dare!
This debates in the home continue in the role play.
We have the food now. We have what we needed. And I guarantee you're going to walk through those doors, and Sir Michael is going to hand you 1 gold piece to repay you for what we just purchased.
The GM just told me what. Well, we will see.
The GM can also kill you. I just want to say that.
Well, let us get the goods and let us be off. I'm sure there is still some food on that table in there.
There is enough food on that table to feed the entire bloody town.
Which is why I'm sure there's still food there.
Exactly.
And so he's going to walk in. Mm-hmm. I imagine the food is there.
Yeah, and Bruce had come bounding around the corner as soon as he heard Anna's voice talking to Siegfried. And she turns and gives him scratches and little scritches behind the ears. And she's like, "It's so good to see you. Good morning, my darling little boy." And he telepathically replies to her and says, So, sleeping outside isn't exactly what I like, so can I sleep inside tomorrow or tonight or whenever it gets dark? Is that all right? And she's like, "Oh, darling, of course it's okay. You can sleep in the house, in the room, wherever we are." And you hear her saying this, and she's just kind of scritching him and then gets up and she's like, "Do you want to come inside now?" And he follows right along on the heels as you guys go inside.
So as we go in, of course, seeing the table, they're laden with food.
Yes, the halflings are there. All 4 of them are kind of at a farther end of the table. They're not really meshing with Sir Michael, Ulfric, and Sophie, but they are there at the end of the table. They're enjoying a meal, breakfast. You can see that their spirits are a little lighter. They're a little brighter, countenance-wise, energetically. They seem like they did sleep well.
So he'll walk straight to Sir Michael and bow. We have arranged for the goods and the food that you needed.
Oh, that's one that.
They will be delivering it soon.
He's kind of has a mouthful of, and he's kind of patting and. Well, that is wonderful. Thank you very much. I have no idea what accent that was. Well, please sit and eat some food, and we will have a wonderful meal before we go. I assume that he did not charge you too much, and he snaps at Ulfric real quickly, and Ulfric produces a coin purse, and Sir Michael looks at you expectantly.
It was only 1.5 gold. That is all.
And Anna kicks you very hard under the table.
Anna!
Roll a deception check for me.
It's a 10 plus 11, 21.
Okay, with Anna kicking you, it's pretty freaking obvious. And Sir Michael just looks at you. Like, 1.5 gold. Yes?
Was that not it, Anna? Did I miss something?
And yes, you missed something, as I don't think he was. And she looks at Sir Michael. I don't think you were at the he was at the counter when we were actually making negotiations. He was very interested in the makeup. A little bit much, if you ask me, but that's okay. It was only
As
1
is
gold.
staring daggers at you.
Like,
And I wish my
it's
cantrips
totally
didn't
fine.
level up in a way so I could like zap you.
She just kind of smiles and she's like, it was only 1 gold, Sir Michael. And he's like, oh, of course, I understand the store owner, Balhon, is absolutely wonderful, and so I understand being just slightly distracted. He is such a fun person to talk to. So here is 1 gold for you. And he moves it across the table, and Anna reaches out to intercept it. She's like, I actually paid for it, so I'm gonna take it.
Az doesn't even try to take it.
Well, good. So now, and he kind of.
The food will be delivered promptly. He is having one of his men help.
Oh yes, I understand. He normally does that anyway. Our carriages and our wagons are just right there in the corner. It's totally fine. And he turns to Ulfric and says, "Can we be ready to go and say?" And he looks over the mantle at a very large clock that's showing the time. He's like, "Can we be ready to go and say like a quarter of an hour?"
Just
And
that.
oh no, he's saying this to Ulfric.
Okay.
And Ulfric turns and looks back at you and at Anna. The halfling's kind of doing a quick check and looking at the things that are down here already and said, "Yeah, we can be ready in about a half an hour. That's no problem." And Sir Michael says, wunderbar. So, we will go get our things and get ready in the carriage. We will see you in just a half an hour, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, oui. So he stands up, and Sophie this whole time has been pretty quiet and just kind of sitting there at the side, and she stands up and with her father and looks at you and says, "Are you going to be in the carriage again today?"
Yes.
Okay. And she looks at Anna and she said, "Anna, are you going to be in the carriage again today?" And she's like, and Anna's just dying over here. She's like, "I don't have to be. You know, actually, a horse came back. I mean, Siegfried. We named him Siegfried. He came back. So do you know what? I think I might just ride on him. Possibly like crisscross, but he's very wide. That's fine, though. I can not be in the carriage." And she kind of looks at you.
Az turns, coughs a little bit.
And Sophie's like,
Cast message. Do not leave me alone. Do not leave me alone in that carriage.
and Anna just
What are we
smiles
doing?
and begins to walk away. And she's like, and Sophie looks at you and says, "Perhaps we can continue to work on making these go away."
And there are, I have some other things that I have that can also help. We will continue.
Fantastic. Bien. All right. Well, I will see you in half an hour in the carriage then. And she turns around and she follows her
Just
father
for it.
with at the very bottom of the stairs, she does turn and do a little glance back a little bit and then continues up the stairs. And as soon as her back is turned and Ulfric is also chuckling and following behind probably a good 4 or 5 feet, he also turns back and looks and he just does this. And Anna is dying. But she slowly kind of builds it all back in and she says, look, I know that you might be very uncomfortable with all of this. However, first off, it's funny as hell. But secondly, she's a young girl. She has never met anyone that was like her before. This is hero worship, more than anything. And you saved her life in her eyes. So,
if I am not mistaken, I think that you killed more of
I know,
them
I
than
did.
I did.
It's fine. But in her eyes, you are her savior. So let
Az
it be.
sits down heavily at the little table there and begins to eat.
Just let it be. It'll be fine. And Farmer Magdalene walks over and says, did I hear that right? Half an hour. We're leaving?
Yes.
All right, great. And she kind of motions for the other 3 halflings to come over to join the 3 of you at the table as well.
Siegfried, the horse, has returned.
Well, that is unexpected and
Yes.
quite wonderful.
So do we want to continue with the same arrangement with the halflings sitting on his back
And
for the ride?
Farmer Magdalene turns and looks at Tip and it's kind of like, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to do that again tonight or today? It's going to be a little bit longer of a walk. There's a pretty long distance between us and the next town, so most likely we're going to be traveling all day long. It won't be as short as it was before. And Tip kind of thinks about it for a second, and Brennan leans forward and says, It's fine. The horse's back is wide enough. We can just sit back there. It's not a problem. And Magdalene kind of is like, okay, well, sounds good. So they're all in agreement. The halflings are going to hang out on the back of the horse. And all of them go back up the stairs, and Anna starts walking up the stairs as well, and turns and just says, I'm gonna grab my armor. Do you think you could help me put it on again?
I think that you can do that yourself.
Oh,
They trained you
bloody
well enough.
hell. Az, come on.
And he sits there.
Are you
takes a
serious?
Big bite of food and chews, looking at you.
Fine. And Anna turns around, goes up the stairs, and gets on her armor.
Remember, a half
own.
hour. Better hurry.
Well, if I'm late, it's your fault. You hear as she's going up the stairs, and then you hear a very sharp slam of a door. So half an hour goes by. The halflings have all come down with all of their things. The food has been delivered to the wagons, and they're out there kind of divvying everything out. Ulfric is also there checking the wheels and the axles of the wagons and making sure that everything is up to snuff. Anna, not unexpectedly, is a little bit late coming down, and as she's coming down the stairs and she leaves, Bruce is kind of right at her heels, and he walks over to you and kind of, and then goes back over to
And
Anna.
as he does that, Az looks down at him, lifts up his hand, and lightning, a little bit of electricity crackles between his fingers.
And Bruce steps back a little bit, but he's not dropping the. But then he does eventually turn around and go back over to Anna, and she gives him scritches, and she's looking at you like, stupid freaking. But eventually everybody gets back into their positions. You are in the cart with Sophie and Sir Michael. Sophie is not bold enough to actually sit by you. She does sit by her father, but she continues through as the little caravan is now leaving and everybody is in where they are wanting to go. I want you, before I kind of describe kind of what's happening while you go, I would like you to roll me a D8.
All right, here we go. Starting the trek.
The trek to Kentucky.
8.
All right. Okay. So as you begin on the road, do you still have your map?
I do.
So you can kind of see where we're going.
Yes, I do.
For any of our viewers, the map is on rotation down at the bottom. So you can kind of see what we're doing. This is a map that I compiled from a bunch of different maps from different editions of Pathfinder and different adventure paths and put them all together to make sure that it was the most up-to-date and current. So we are at Canopy on Revenel Road.
Yes.
And we are continuing on that merchant line towards Ashford. That's the next major city. However, that distance is approximately a 2 days drive.
Oi.
So just so that there's an understanding. Once you really get into it, the horses are able to, they do have them walk a little bit faster and they're moving a little bit better. They're feeling
Better
really
road.
good. It's a better road. It's fairly well maintained as you're leaving Canopy, but once you kind of reach a bend in the road that goes up and around a hill, you can see that's distinctly where Canopy stops maintaining the road, and it does get a little bit rougher. You do have to slow down a little bit more, but you're going
A good pace.
You're going at a pretty good pace, so that if you continued at this pace, you by nightfall would be probably just over halfway through the road. Is there anything that you wanted to discuss?
Yes. As I'm going, I take out the makeup and the charcoal, and then there are lots of things that can be done to affect one's appearance and to soften and downplay certain features. And then I'd like to, I cast a little guidance on myself and to get a +1, and then I'd like to use my thievery, which can be used to make a disguise.
Okay.
And I want to try and teach her to use the makeups and charcoals to kind of, rather than highlighting how beautiful she is, kind of downplay a little bit, maybe use a charcoal to maybe give her a little bit of a look of maybe some bags in her eyes or anything like that to try and downplay her beauty.
Okay, so we're putting, for those of you that know makeup,
yes,
we're going to be putting, instead of contour on the bottom, we're putting a little bit of contour on top to make it look a little bit less like striking cheekbones and smoothing out the jaw a little bit. I like the bags under the eyes. I would like you to make an actual check for this, though, because I want to know how well you do. You can choose. You can either do performance or thievery, one or the other.
Yeah, I'll do my thievery. Okay. And I'm using one of my hero points.
Oh, Darren C., you just saved him from.
Because I start off with 1. So
okay, wait, 2. No, okay, so that's not your point. That's his point that I gave him. Never mind. Darren C., yours is still saved for combat.
Wait, I want a different D20.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that D20 has screwed you the last couple of times you've played with it.
It's rolled really well today.
That is true.
Really well today. So, okay, 16 plus 10, 26.
26. 26. That is definitely high enough to do a good job.
I'll roll you later.
We are turning into those people. So you do a pretty dang good job, and you are able to lessen her look so that she looks more like the girl next door and less like the supermodel on the runway.
And that's exactly what he was trying to do.
And she, as you've been doing this, you've been explaining to her, like, you put it here and whatnot. And do you happen to have a mirror? You check your inventory and see if you have a mirror.
I don't think I do.
She has not ever carried a mirror with her because of the way she looks and the way she knows she looks. She's never really needed one that she keeps with her. So nope, no mirror. Okay.
Nope, no mirror. I imagine there's glass window on the side of the cart that gets somewhat of a reflection.
Yeah, so she
and her father gets to see it.
Yeah, and her father through this whole thing as well is kind of like very studiously following what you're doing to try and like recreate this, because anything that you can do to help his daughter, he is unbelievably grateful for, undyingly grateful for. At one point, you do have to stop for lunch, and the carriage, the Ulfric slows the carriage down, stops everything, and you hear Anna coming up around, and she opens the door and says, "So it's time for some food. Should we have a really quick picnic?" And she's looking at Sophie at this, and Sophie is like, "Oh, yes, magnifique. Yes, let's go out and let's have, a picnic." And then she kind of like moves her hair out of the way a little bit so that Anna can fully see. And Anna takes a step back and looks at you and says, "That is a surprisingly good job. You are still unbelievably stunning, Sophie. However, I think my eyes might only stop on you for a moment instead of a full minute." And she smiles, and Sophie says, "Oh, I'm so very thankful to Sir Az for helping me out with this." And she kind of pats her cheeks, and she feels very proud of the fact that she doesn't look stunningly gorgeous at this moment. But she gets out, and Anna looks at you, and she does do this like, as you walk away, or as they walk away, and that leaves you and Sir Michael in the carriage
and she
together.
does cast message real quick and listen to her. The makeup was not a waste of my time.
And you hear very faintly back, "I am trying to give you a compliment, and all you can do is snap at me." And then nothing.
Yep.
You get the distinct impression through the message spell that she's like, shut off communication. She's like, "Nope, we're done."
I wish I had a first level magic missile. Just to send it one.
You're such a jerk.
It'd do 1d4 of damage.
You're such a jerk. Anyway, Sir
She's
Michael.
screwing everything I've tried to do.
She's not screwing anything. She has literally helped you get food. Okay, this is whatever. Okay, moving on. Sir Michael is in the carriage with you, and you guys are now kind of alone, and he does lean forward and just kind of pats your shoulder a little bit and says, thank you. This is more than I think anyone has done for her since her mother died, so I appreciate you taking the time."
I am sure, sir, that you do more every day than I have done.
I leave her with her maids, and I have to be gone often, and I have not been able to teach her the things that a mother would teach her, things like the makeup and whatnot. So
this is slightly different than most would teach in
of
makeup.
course, this is going to be different, but it is very kind of you.
However I can serve. And bows. Again, give him courtly bow there.
And he smiles, and Sir Michael smiles and says, "I do believe that you have made up my mind." And he turns around and like kind of gets up and gets himself out of the carriage and begins to walk back to the merchant cart.
Made up his mind about what? Oh gosh.
What would you like to do? Is there anything you want to do during lunch time?
No, I'll come out and find myself, some stump or something to sit on there. I imagine that I don't have high survival, so I imagine that their guard, his name again was
Ulfric.
That Ulfric will handle all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he is definitely on guard, and you see him go over to Anna, who has set out a little blanket for her and Sophie, and he does go to Anna, and you see them converse really quickly, and she then turns and says something to Sophie before standing up and beginning to follow Ulfric around to the backside, and it looks as if they are most likely going to be doing a kind of like just a checking of the area and looking over the wagons and whatnot. You have most definitely not been tapped for that job. The halflings are together. They're eating their food. Everybody seems pretty jovial and nothing like exciting or whatever happens in this moment. And once you are all done, everybody gets back into the carts and into the wagon and continues forward. I would like you to roll me a perception check, please.
All right. 15 plus 12. I rolled well tonight.
You have rolled really well tonight. It's kind of awesome. So as you get into the wagon or into the carriage, you see far out on the horizon, past the rolling hills up to where the mountains that separate Ravenel and Cheliax, you can still see those in the distance. You see cloud cover and what looks like it could possibly become a storm depending on which way the wind blows. But as you get into the cart or into the carriage, you shut the door and you guys continue moving on your way towards Kintargo. Is there anything that you wanted to do? Oh, actually, yes. So Sophie, at this point, removes all the makeup. Mm-hmm. And she is going to spend the rest of the time with you, having you help her put it on herself. Even though she doesn't have a mirror, she's doing everything with touch, and she's looking into the window to see if that, like, where she's getting everything and whatnot. By the time you reach, it starts to get dark. You look out the window, and still holding onto your perception from earlier, you see that it is prematurely dark. And that there is now a pretty heavy overcast. In most likely the storm, there is an actual storm that seems to be brewing above you.
I think in that moment, Az is going to use his ancestral memory for a moment. Mm-hmm. To connect with his ancestor and have training in survival. Mm-hmm. He's not going to say anything, not going to give any indication that something's going on.
Okay.
But
Are you doing this away from?
I'm kind of, I'm trying to, I'm sequestering myself just a little. Like, are we riding currently?
We're still in the carriage.
He's going to stick his head out, like, kind of like at the window or
like Bruce.
Kind of, just to look up at the sky.
Okay.
Do that for a moment. I'd like to do then a survival check to kind of see how bad are we expecting this to get.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Oh, that's only a 3, and I'll leave that. So that together is a 13.
A 13, okay. From what you can see, there are some large thunderhead clouds that are accumulating. They are very dark. They do look like they most likely are going to rain, but you can't really tell to the degree of which the storm is going to be, if it's going to be just a light drizzle or if it's going to turn into a full-on torrential downpour.
All right. And then once I'm done with that, I'll sit back down and then spend the 10 minutes while we're just riding there in the carriage to focus and regain that focus point.
Okay.
As we ride.
All right, fantastic. Well, at a certain point, Ulfric stops the horses and gets down off of the carriage and opens the door to speak to Sir Michael. And with it being a very small little carriage, it's like not like they can speak privately. And he says to Sir Michael, "We have a storm coming, so we're most likely going to need to make shelter. If you and the young mistress would like to stay here in the carriage until we have that up, I do believe that Az and Anna and possibly Magdalene will be able to help get our shelter up very quickly if we can do that now instead of waiting for the rain." Yes, and he looks at you and he's like, "Az, do you
just let us prepare."
Okay. All right, great.
Quickly.
So he he grabs as he like you kind of follow him away from the carriage, and you see Anna's already there waiting. It looks like she kind of clued into what was happening. And as you approach, she kind of points to the ground and kicks it a little bit and says, I think this is a good place for us to actually build our little shelter. I'm assuming this is a shelter where we're going to need, like, this is a storm we're going to need shelter with. So, yes. And Ulfric's like, yeah, absolutely. And he points back at the merchant wagon. He said, in the side left compartment is our large tent. It'll take all three of us about a half an hour to get it up. So if we can work quickly, I'd like to get it up before the storm hits and get the weatherproofing done quickly.
Let's fuck.
Okay, I would like you to make a survival check.
Shoot, I didn't use my thing, so I've got +3.
You have regained that focus point if you would like to call on your ancestor to help with this. With a reminder, it does only last for 1 minute.
I'm not going to.
So okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then Anna is going
That's cocked.
to roll as
I think it's cocked.
If you think I trust you, if you think it's cocked. Oh frick.
A little bit better. 10.
Okay.
Overall.
All right, 10
it's
overall.
just setting up a tent.
And Anna got a 4 overall, so she's absolutely no freaking help.
We call over to
Ulfric,
Farmer Magdalene.
Magdalene does as you guys pull the big tent out and you're trying to get it down, and Anna's trying to figure out the poles. Essentially what it's like when we're trying to put up a tent with our kids and they're running all over stuff and they're trying to, it's like that level of difficulty. But Magdalene does come over and says, can I, and she like takes the pole out of Anna's hands. She's like, let me help. Okay. And Anna's she's very frustrated. She's not used to not being good at athletic things and like physical things that you do with your hands. So she's very annoyed and frustrated in this moment.
Actually, here's a question for you. As far as setting up this, can I use my crafting?
I'll allow it. Yeah.
So with the same roll, I won't change it all because it was a 7. It's a 19 then.
Oh, okay.
If I use my crafting skill.
Okay, that's going to cut down the amount of time that it's going to take for you guys to do this instead of a half an hour. And with Anna's ineptitude, it was going to take like 40 minutes. But with Magdalene coming over and a roll of 19, it's actually going to lower that time to about 20 minutes to get that up. And as it starts to take shape and form, and the middle posts are going through and the big overarching ones are also happening, you begin to hear the very faint rumble of thunder on the distance. And by the time you have completely finished, the wind has begun to move up the side of this hill and is kind of blowing semi-hard against you guys. And there is definitely a storm coming through for the night. As everybody gets off, the halflings and Sophie and Sir Michael, now that the tent is up, and is a part of all of this. You guys did set out bedrolls and all of things. It got everything set and ready to go. And Sir Michael and Sophie come in, and just as the rain begins to come down upon the tent, and that is where we are going to take a break.
Okay.
So, couple of things. First off, we're going to respond to, so Darren C. Thank you so much for the hero point,
Thank
Darren
you.
C. It is going to come in handy, trust me, as has a tendency to die.
Anyone else, if you have, it's 500 channel points to give a hero point.
Yep, and you can give them to Az or Andoriana, and we can have a max of 3. So Az right now has 1, Anna has 1, and we may need them tonight. You never know.
We may.
You may. But yes, Darren C., I do love that. Is there anything you want to do before combat starts? It's true. I'm not going to say it's totally true because obviously that didn't happen this time, but most of the time that's what happens. So we are going to take a really quick break, just like 5 minutes, and just kind of stand up, stretch, whatever. Stick around, and we will be right back.
Be right back then.
Be right back.
Hey, Pete!
Hi!
Guess what? We got a new Twitch subscriber.
Cool.
They subscribed using a Twitch Prime account.
What's a Twitch Prime account?
Twitch Prime is when you use your Amazon Prime account to connect to your Twitch account. You get a free subscription.
So you're saying if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can have a Twitch subscription to any channel for free?
Completely for free to any channel.
Any channel?
Any channel.
Completely free?
Completely free.
So you're saying if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can get a Twitch channel subscription for things like emotes, subscriber exclusive streams, sub-only discords, instant replays, badges, and no ads. And those are just the things our channel offers for free.
Completely for free. Just connect your Amazon Prime account.
Well, that sounds like a deal to me.
Hello and welcome back. I told you we weren't going to be on for very long. So, where we left off, it had just begun to rain. Just begun to rain. English is a thing. And our band of adventurers have gone into a tent to take shelter from the storm just as it hits. So as Sir Michael and Sophie come in and everyone kind of huddles really quickly into the tent, you hear kind of farther away as the thunder rolls through the valley, and Anna is like she's a little disturbed by the sound just because it shakes the ground just a little bit and it's so loud. But Sophie immediately is clutching her father and is like, "Oh, yeah, me papa," and she begins a very, very fast, rapid speech in French. And is speaking with him, and she is trying to calm him down. And the three halflings have kind of gone into the corner, and they are sitting on bedrolls, just kind of looking around at everything. And you can hear the horses as they are, as they have been positioned over by the side of the tent, and they're kind of whinnying just a little bit as they are a little bit upset with what's going on.
Yep.
But as of right now, everything is okay, and everyone is safe.
So the horses don't seem to need calming. They're as upset as it would be the fact that there's
I mean, it's a pretty loud thunderstorm, lightning storm that's happening out near them, but they're pretty chill. I will give you, because even though you can't see this, it is sheet lightning. So it's not actually striking the earth. It's up pretty high into the sky, so it's not a lightning that is going to be very scary. For the horses, what?
nothing.
Okay.
Just looking at audio levels.
You just looked very serious there for a second. So as you continue, the food comes out and make a kind of very simple meal of some jerked meats and some fruits and a couple of vegetables that do not need to be cooked. And it's a pretty calm, quiet inside of the tent, mostly because you can't hear each other all that well over the sound of the pounding rain against the canvas of this large tent area. Where have you positioned yourself within the tent?
I would position myself by the halflings.
Okay, so the halflings are kind of back. So the tent is set up like almost like a hexagon.
Mm-hmm.
And so the halflings are in the back far side corner in one of the points, and their bedrolls are all kind of just right there. Farmer Magdalene is very close as well, and Anna has also laid out her bedroll fairly close over there. It's not a massive tent, but there's a little bit of distance between you guys and Sophie, Sir Michael, and Ulfric. Ulfric has positioned himself right by the front of the tent, by the flap, and he does motion for Anna to come over to him, and she gets up and goes over, and they have a muted conversation really quickly, and she comes back and sits down and says, Ulfric would like to know if there's anything, if you, as would be willing to do, like a rotation for the watch.
Yes, most definitely.
I mean, at this point, we've eaten. It's not. We can't really make a fire. We can't really do anything. So I think everybody's just going to kind of bed down for the evening. Is that? Do you want to take? I mean, we're going to be doing it in pairs. So, and she looks over at Magdalene, who's also listening to this conversation, to include her in. And Magdalene nods and says, "Yes, absolutely. I will be a part of this as well."
So how many shifts then are we taking?
She's like, there's only 4 of us, so I guess, that's not going to be very fun. 2 and 2? That's going to be a little difficult. But I'm sure it'll be fine. We're in the middle of, like, nowhere on a hill. I'm sure we'll be fine. Do you think that'll work? Or should we ask the halflings to be a part of this watch as well?
I would say that, well, I do not want any of them to be alone with our guests.
Yes, of course.
So.
But I mean, I'm not planning on. Well, I guess we will be outside. That makes sense. Yeah. All right, so let's just do 2 and 2 then. Yes? And Anna looks at Magdalene and says, "Do you want to, like, companion with Az and I with Ulfric, or do you want?" And she shakes her head real quickly and she says, "No. We need some good fighting with Az. So I haven't seen Ulfric fight, and he fell when we met him. So I would like you to stay with us."
I am perfectly capable of defending myself.
Yes, of course. And Anna says that and just kind of like, yes, that's fine. So you will partner with Ulfric, and I will partner with Az, and we'll do watch that way. Yes? And
if we must.
All right. Okay, I will go tell Ulfric. And she gets up really quickly and walks over to Ulfric, and they have an exchange, and you see him nodding. And so then Anna comes back and says, "All right, so Magdalene, you will be with Ulfric. That you'll do first watch, and then halfway through the night, just wake us up, and we'll do second. All right?" And everyone's like, Magdalene's like, "Okay, cool. Do you have any objections or thoughts or emotional outbursts about said issues?"
This is most likely best. Anna, you're good at many things, but knowing what details not to say and deception are not quite your strong suit.
I personally have nothing to deceive. I have used my real name. I am who I am.
Except for that we are escaped individuals from the Hell Knight Order that are tracking us.
Well,
and seek
I know not to say that. I'm not stupid.
This arrangement will work.
Fine. And she rolls over on her mat as Farmer Magdalene gets up, and Sir Michael shouts across the loud, cacophonous sound of the rain and just says, "Well, not exactly what I thought for our first night, but we are dry. At least we will say goodnight for the evening, and we will hopefully this rain will let up by tomorrow morning. Yes."
This is the hope.
And he's like, "Look, okay.
Get rest."
Yes, yes, we will sleep." And he rolls over. And Sophie sits up a little bit, kind of looking at you a little bit, like hoping that maybe you would come over and talk to her a little bit. And when you don't, she just kind of turns around and lays down next to her father and pulls her blankets up, and they have very nice, very warm beautiful blankets while everybody else just has regular traveling cloaks.
Yep.
And as the storm rages on, you eventually
got rid of my weather elements spell that I had had.
Oh my gosh, it's true.
I had it on there, but then when I did my morning preparations,
You didn't prepare it. Oh my gosh, that's funny. But the sound of the rain slowly lulls you to sleep, and the occasional of thunder slowly puts everyone to sleep. And
as is begin to doze off, he does look over to see if Anna seems to be fitful in her sleep. Kind of looking for signs of.
Give me a perception check.
We saw the other night. Damn it. 6 plus 18.
She's sleeping. In the amount of time you're able to watch her, unless you're wanting to choose to not sleep yourself, she looks like she's asleep. Okay. She's not showing a ton of signs of distress. But yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. So you both fall asleep, and eventually Farmer Magdalene does come and shake you awake. And while the storm is still raging, the rain is not quite as loud as it was previously. It's been about 4.5, 5 hours into the night at this point. And she reaches out and kind of shakes you awake a little bit. And
Az knows the drill of being woken up for something he has to do.
Yeah. And she does say, keep an ear out. There were some sounds that were a little suspicious. It sounded like something was just moving, not the horses. Something was moving out in the storm. So just keep an ear out. It's nothing really concerning. Just
Az is going to, as she says that, just for as an impulse, I pulse in 30 feet area detect magic.
Okay.
Just see if there's anything I pick up.
Nothing.
Right, cool.
No magical properties to anything around you, except for the few magical items that you guys do have on you right now.
Gotcha.
So as you get up, are you going to wake Anna as well?
Yeah. I mean, it's not wise to be solo on watch. So he goes, wakes her, just kind of soft shake on the shoulder.
And she startles slightly, like, awake, and rolls over and sees you. And she's like, oh, it's our time to, yes. All right. And she kind of trying to blink. She's a little groggy. Seems like she was in a pretty deep sleep when you woke her up. And she goes and follows you. Are you going to do your watch at the flap or outside of the flap?
Are Magdalene's wet? Are they does it appear that the others did theirs outside?
They were kind of switching off a little bit on who was going outside and who was staying inside, but they were mostly staying inside. They would peek their head out every once in a while.
Do we have any trees around?
There's a few scraggy trees, nothing real
nothing
major.
Around us that would give it.
No, this was at the rise of a hill that Anna had kind of chosen for where there aren't a ton of trees in this area. This is more like a hilly plain side.
Down? Is it?
It's at an angle.
So if we maybe ran over to and sat with our backs against the cart, the carriage like that, would that give cover?
It would give a little bit of cover, yeah.
All right. I think we'll go to that. That we were out and can look around, but still provides us some cover from the elements.
Okay. So you convey this plan to Anna?
Yep. Use message and just kind of convey it to her directly so we don't have to wake anyone.
Yeah. And you hear back just a general sound of grumbling. Of we're gonna go the stupid rain, like it just this thing. And she reaches into her pack, pulls out her cloak, her shroud of the afterlife, and flips it, the big hood up and over her head, and kind of wraps the cloak around her and says, "Do you have anything for yourself, or do we need to wake someone up to get you a cloak?" I'm sure Ulfric has one.
I mean, as his outfit has had a hood
Okay.
on it this whole time, so he just puts his hood up.
All right, great.
And kind of just heads out
Okay.
in the rain.
All right, so as you both go out to the rain, you kind of
His clothes
huddle
are
up.
actually very high, well made.
Yeah. Well, you're the slave of a very
Powerful and
powerful and genteel individual.
Yeah.
So you guys both go up to the side of the carriage or the wagon, and take kind of shelter. You do get a little wet. There is going to be some rain that's kind of pelting you a little bit, but it is significantly less because you were at it's all at an angle and you were behind the cart, and you were able to see the hill and the area all around, and the tent with everybody in it.
All right.
As soon as you guys get settled, Anna kind of leans back into the carriage and says, "Look, I know you're a little upset with me, and I'm sorry. You have to understand, this might be the... Okay, not might. This is the first time I have ever been, like, alone.
What do you mean?
I don't have anyone watching me. I don't have a schedule to keep. I don't have people, taskmasters, asking for things. Like, I'm enjoying just doing and being, and for some reason that seems to really upset you."
That does not upset me. What upsets me is when I try to do things, you seem to undermine me.
I'm not undermining you.
The
I'm really
general
not.
store.
I was not undermining you in that instance. I just figured we have the money. There's no reason to not just give the man what he wanted and leave.
There is every reason.
Please explain.
We at that moment could not know for certain. I have seen many noblemen take advantage of everyone around them. They just expect their orders to be followed and don't really think about the individual doing the job. It would be very common for him to have us purchase it and then believe that it is our privilege to serve. I could not
Right.
know. Thus, if it was out of our funds, I need to make sure that it was as little as possible. We do not have a lot of money.
Okay.
And it has to last us, we do not know how long.
All right. Okay. I can understand that, and I see that. I had the money, so I didn't see any problem with it. But if you have a plan of something like that, will you please tell me in the future?
Yes, I will work harder to convey. I am used to working with servants who know how to do the specific job they are given, or with agents of the network who are well acquainted with deception.
Okay.
And we could have made a half of a gold off of Sir Michael. And
But
as
I
you said,
feel
it would not have
badly
hurt him at
about
all.
that, because it's like stealing.
Anna, we are technically... The Bellflower Network is an illegal organization.
Not in Ravenel. I know that for a fact. The Domina herself is a proprietor of the Bellflower Network.
But you do not think that the network still does things that are a little under the table?
What I know is that up to this point, they have never done anything to me that has been untoward.
Working together is going to be interesting experience. Well, I will work to lay out the plan in advance.
All right, thank you. That is very much appreciated. And she leans, this whole time she's been kind of leaned forward a little bit with her hood pushed back so she could kind of see you. But then she leans back and kind of pulls the hood up again, and you guys continue on your watch.
And Az just pulls out a book out of his pack, and there tries to make sure he's not getting it wet.
Yeah,
kind of.
About
How dark is it though, or do we have like no moon? Is it
there's no. Well, it's raining.
Okay,
there's
so
no.
never mind. He puts the book away. He's not going to bust.
I mean,
out
you
the
can
halo
bust
for
out your
that.
halo.
We ain't busting out the halo for this.
All right. At about an hour into your watch, you begin to hear the distinct sound of movement. Walking, then a quick.
Do I know where it's coming from?
Give me a perception check.
6 plus 12, 18.
18. It seems to be coming fairly close, but then like moving away.
Az whispers, listen, and then says, again, casting message. Anna, we have something nearby.
Yes, I heard it too.
It sounds small.
And you hear again a quick as it this time you can hear it's running behind the carriage on the other side.
Do you have your sword?
Of course I have my sword. I'm not an idiot. And she kind of shows you that the sword is right here at her side. You hear another skittering sound, but this time it's not as fast. It's a little more loping, and you hear something hear and feel something kind of run into or push at the cart. Not in a like it's gonna hurt the cart kind of way, but in like a testing, like just seeing like what is this kind of thing and pushing at it.
Anna, we go same side, or
I guess or should we just run straight out so we can see
1 moment.
it comes out?
1 moment. And then Az is going to come to the edge and try and just look, not trying to look completely around to see what's there, but look to where you can see kind of at an angle back. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to cast Ghost Sound.
Okay.
Which allows me to make a loud noise equal to the sound of 4 people yelling. I'm going to make the sound of some people yelling over just kind of in it's 30 feet away, just kind of at a diagonal from the cart.
Okay. All right.
And then, well, before I do that, I'm going to make a loud sound to distract, and then we run out to see what's there. And hopefully they will look the other direction.
All right. So you're doing it just past the wagons?
So 30 feet past. So we got the wagon right here. We're on this side. I'm going to cast it like over here.
Okay.
That way the whatever it is will all look that way.
Okay.
As we run around.
Okay. I get you. Okay.
So I will cast that, making that loud noise.
Mm-hmm.
This I can cast it as a 3rd level. It's 60 feet away.
Okay.
Over there. So
okay, so it's farther down the road. A
little bit farther down the road.
Okay.
And then, moment after I do that, I turn to Anna, and then motion for us to run out the direction that she had kind of suggested.
Okay.
To see what's there.
Okay, so as soon as you cast that, there comes this like of the sound of the yelling coming from 60 feet down the way, and as soon as that hits, you hear something very large go on the other side of the cart, and you hear a down. Sorry, Letty. I totally just freaked out my dog. Coming from just a little bit farther back to a few trees that are like a ways away. And you and Anna take off straight towards the tent. And as you flip around to see what it is, you see the distinct, huge, hulking form of a direwolf. And that you can only assume is what had jumped off of the back of the carriage and onto the ground. And you see coming from farther out what looks to be a pack of them. 4, possibly 5. You can't really tell in the darkness. And we're going to be rolling for initiatives.
Can I real quick, as I see those wolves coming, I cast a real quick message back to Farmer Magdalene because she's within distance. I know, and just say, "Get out here."
Yes, you can, and you hear immediate back to her, from her I heard it. I'm coming. Right. And let me go get our train. Just one second.
Right. This combat is built during our tabletop terrain talks. You can find out more about the terrain that we use and how we build it on Monday nights at 8:30 Mountain Daylight Time. Daylight Time.
Okay, it's a little sparse at the moment. Hold on. I didn't expect that we were going to need the carts. Just a second. Okay, so we have the carts kind of farther off over here so that the road's kind of going that way, and then these are kind of just random little scraggly trees that are hanging out.
All right, where are we at?
So we ran right up, saying that you and I ran about this way. So we're together over here, and then do you want to change the music to the battle action music?
No, dude, I can find where I put the mouse. Oh, up here.
There it is. So we've got... And you have to excuse the fact that we're using kitty cats. And not direwolves. We don't have all the money in the world to buy actual minis of the things we're fighting. But they work! So, we have one. If you want to put him over there, coming around that corner.
Yep.
And then we have 3 additional coming from out here together.
Oh boy.
In a pack. Okay. I hope you guys can all see that. Okay.
I'm gonna real quick see if I can
flip
zoom in
over
on that
to the
camera.
flip over to the combat
this
cam.
one.
Yay! There we go. Okay, so Az and I are right here, and there are 3 dire wolves here, and then another one on the other side of the carriage.
All right.
Okay. All right. So, let's roll some initiative.
There we go. Roll. I'm zooming in a little bit.
All right, as we are coming into this, I am going to say that Farmer Magdalene does get here and Ulfric does get here fast enough.
All right, good.
To actually be a part of this this initiative round as well. So we've got Anna with a natural 20. What's up?
And our tents, so tents I'm guessing over here.
Yeah, the tents are gonna be like back here. I don't have. I guess.
Ooh, I got 15 plus 12, a 27.
I could grab a rock or something and say that that's our tent. Here, this works. Here's our tent.
There we go.
We're super high budget, you guys. So yeah, so Anna got a 29.
27 for Az.
Okay, you are rolling for Magdalene.
Yeah, let me roll for her
Okay,
as well.
and I'm rolling for Ulfric. Ulfric got a freaking 18.
Natural 20 for Magdalene with a 14
What?
perception.
Okay, so Maggie.
That is my
going
first nat 20 for the night.
Nice. So it was a 20 or 14, so it's 34.
34 for Magdalene.
34. Okay. And Ulfric got an 18, and his perception is a 14, so he will be going second. And then I am going.
They both got pretty high perceptions.
So Ulfric, and then let me do the little beasties. We've got 4 direwolves. Of course, which one? Why can't I find there? There it is. Okay.
Are each of them about the same size? It's just a.
Yes. So it is an act. It is well. Okay. Give me a perception check while we're going through this really quick.
It's only a 9, so that is a 21.
From what you can tell, they look to be a family pack. And we've got a male over on the far side who's a little bit bigger and a little bit hairier. The female who is this black one right here, and then their 2 babies.
Darren's asking who needs a hero point. I'm sure either one of us could use one.
Give it to Az. I'm not kidding.
So I don't die. I am the squishy spellcaster.
He's a very squishy one. Okay, so hold on. And then, of course, they literally rolled like crap.
Good.
So, okay, but then they're just all the rest of them. Okay.
So we
All
can go
right,
first.
so
Where's from
Magdalene?
Her mini's over there.
Oh, yeah, so she's running up. I need to grab Ulfric's. So she's running out of the tent here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Magdalene and Ulfric are able to get out of the tent. We're changing Ulfric's. Oh, that is what we used last time. I need to paint that one. But so they have come out of the tent there. Magdalene's turn is first. So she is good. Bruce is also with Anna.
All right. So,
Okay.
Farmer Magdalene. Let's see if it was.
And yes, we know Bruce, the dogs are very large.
So, she's going to take her first action to run over here.
Okay.
And kind of get next to that boulder. Which she has the ability to quick draw. So, as she's running, she can pull out her sling. Her sling.
Mm-hmm.
She then, I think, she can use that to do that, but then she's got to actually load it. So then it's one action to load it, and then she's going to use one action to fling a stone at that.
This one right here.
That one right there
Okay.
that she can see.
All right, go ahead and roll. Okay.
All right, 10 plus 18, 28.
Yes, that hits. That is actually a critical. Jeez.
All right. I rolled a 1 on the damage, though.
Okay, so plus
but
strength.
it's still plus 8. So that's still 9 points
so
of
that's
damage.
18 points of damage against.
Thank you.
direwolf
Az has
number
another hero
4.
point.
Yay!
You rock, Darren C.
Thank you, Darren C. Way to go, Az. He's not gonna die.
Maybe.
Literally, go watch some of our every combat from the last
I'm
episode.
squishy.
He dies in every single
I'm a
one.
spellcaster.
I know. I'm kidding. Okay, so it was 18.
Blessings of Nethys upon you.
Hold on. I'm doing math.
Where's your calculator?
Okay. No, I don't know where my calculator is. Oh, it's right here. Okay.
All right.
I'm I'm good. Okay. Next up is Ulfric. Ulfric comes out with his sword as what does he have? He actually has a falchion.
That's fine.
But yeah, so he comes out with his falchion ready and just like rip roaring to go. He takes a very quick assessment of what is going on, and having seen that Magdalene is going that direction, he's actually going to come up around the side of you as he can move up to. Hold on, he can move 25 feet.
5.
So I want you to come around the other side. And I want him to go straight up to the dire wolf.
Oh, this one right here.
Mm-hmm, that one right there.
Okay, so wait, it's right here. Okay,
So he can just make it. So he's going to come running up to this dire wolf that's like... And he is going to attack with his falchion. So that's a plus 13. Is a 19 to hit, which does hit wonderfully enough. And does 1d6, 8, 10. What is that? I should read 1d10. And that is a 6, so that is 12 points of damage against our daddy direwolf. The daddy direwolf. That being his second action, he's actually now for his third, he is going to move back towards you and just hold that line right next to you.
Right there.
Back one more. Okay, perfect. What did I say? 12? 12. Okay, now it is Anna's turn. So Anna is going to move for one, and she is going to come at the one that Farmer Magdalene attacked.
15.
Yep. And then she is going to do... Yep, she's going to do power attack.
Power attack!
So she is going to go at this thing with power attack. Oh my god.
What, critting?
No! But she didn't roll very well, but because her attack bonus is so bloody freaking high, she still hits.
Oh, there you go.
It was a 4 plus 16 is a 20. So it hits. So she is going to do her 2d... There it is. D12. Oh, geez. 6. 5. So 17 points of damage against the same one that what's-her-face attacked. And that was all 3 of her actions. So next up is is you.
Yay! So as seeing all this, he is then going to let's do some damage.
Okay.
So I am going to then seeing that one's being attacked, this one's being attacked, and those two have pretty much been left so far. Az then is going to place right... no. I was going to do a fireball, but I'm worried about burning the wagons. He wouldn't want to place that there. So instead...
If you placed it, like, right here, you
probably
could
get all
still
3.
get... I mean, you would incinerate trees, but you could still get, like, this one and this one. I don't think you'd get on it.
If I can get 20 feet...
It would be these.
If I aim it right back there, but I don't... Let me check distance on my fireball.
Isn't it 120 feet?
I believe so, but I want to check just to make sure. Oh, its range is 500 feet. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can aim
you're
back
fine.
there with a fireball and hit.
So
I should be able to hit all 3 of
and
those.
you can hit all. Yeah, you can hit all 3 of them, and you will barely miss the merchant wagon
And Anna.
and Anna.
All right. So with
It's okay. Anna's tough. She can
that,
take it.
It is a reflex save
Okay.
for the 3 of them.
Give me what's the DC on that?
DC on that is 20.
It's 20. All right. Okay, first one misses. Second one misses. Third one misses. All 3 miss.
There we go. 21 points of damage.
Okay. All right, so the first one that has been attacked a couple of times at this point, it is definitely injured. It is really looking rough. The skin is now kind of charcoaled and burned on the backside. Its paws are kind of curled in a little bit, and it is whimpering and and having a very difficult time.
All right.
Hold on 1 second. Let me do the other two. And it was 21 total, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
And
that
then
was
for
one.
For his last action,
two.
Az is going to throw up his shield spell.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Now it is time for the direwolves to bring vengeance upon you. So Daddy Direwolf is going to come up, and he is going to go for Ulfric, who is direct line of sight, and he is going to attack with his jaws. And that is a 19, which does not hit Ulfric. So the direwolf comes up and with its jaws goes out to attack, but Ulfric just is able to kind of slash down at it at the last second, and it bounces off the armor that Ulfric is currently wearing. For its second, it's going to attack a second time. Same thing with the jaws, with the 5-foot penalty or 5-point penalty.
Yep.
So that is a 16. That hits him.
There we go.
That hits Ulfric.
So bite down into him.
He comes at Ulfric again the second time, and his jaws clamp right down onto Ulfric's leg, and Ulfric shouts out in pain like, ah! And he takes... Where'd my D10 go? Weston, did you steal my D10? Give me a D10. He takes 10 points of damage.
There we go.
Poor Ulfric. Oh, there's my D10. Of course, as soon as I am done. Next up, direwolf number 2. This poor, sad little thing that is, like, very sad and can barely freaking move is going to try really hard to reach out and attack Anna with its jaws. Poor thing. I kind of feel bad for it at this point. It gets a natural 20.
Oh, geez.
So Anna, feeling slightly bad for it, doesn't move fast enough out of the way.
She sees
And
little puppy.
She sees this now very sad-looking dog, and you know her affinity for dogs. She does not get out of the way quick enough, and it manages to clamp right down on her calf, doing 9 points of damage to Anna. Poor girl. She just can't with the doggy-like animals. So for its second attack, it is going to do Worry, which is an action that a direwolf can take. The direwolf fiercely shakes the creature within its teeth, going back and forth with all of its final strength and might to get just like, rah! And it is 1d10 plus 2. So it does 4 points of damage to
Ouch.
Anna in that moment. And Anna is going to try and make a fortitude save to get out of its jaws, which she fails miserably. And that is...
End of her turn.
That's going to be the end of that wolfie's turn.
Yeah, these wolfies.
These two left. So the large cat wolf, we're going to move forward, and she is actually going to attack Bruce.
No, Brucey Bruce.
You little Bruce. So she is going to just kind of run full force at Bruce and leap and try and get Bruce in the throat,
Jugular.
in the jugular, for an attack. That is a... Ooh, dear. That definitely hits poor little Bruce. So she comes at Bruce and immediately just gets right in there and grabs him for all she is worth, and deals 8 points of damage against Bruce. Oh, poor Brucey. So that is... And then she is also going to do the worry action against him and just rip into his throat, trying her absolute hardest just to rip his jugular out. And that is an additional 5 points of damage to Bruce. And with that, he has to make a fortitude save. Which I'm pretty sure he didn't do. Nope, he did not do with a 16.
Oh.
Okay, so that's the end of that action. And then this one is going to do 2 actions and go to Papa. So he's going to move all the way across. And also, since Papa is engaged with Ulfric, he is going to double down on Ulfric. Because at this moment, it doesn't realize that you are the one
Throwing the fireball.
Through the fireball, he just sees Papa is attacking this human. So he is also going to do the attack on Ulfric with the jaws. And he will definitely hit. That is a 24 to clamp down. So while Papa is on Ulfric's leg, baby boy jumps up and grabs at Ulfric's shoulder and clamps down on him for 9 points of damage. And again, doing the worry action, he is going to just shake as hard as he possibly can against Ulfric. And being a younger pup, he manages to do a little bit more damage than Daddy did, and that is 10 points of damage for worry. Okay. Now we are at top of the round.
Back to Farmer Magdalene.
Back to Magdalene.
Yep. Farmer.
Oh, hold on. Let me make a fortitude. Nice. So Ulfric, as the baby wolf comes up and grabs on and starts to shake and worry his body, it actually shakes his body well enough that he is able to break free from the daddy wolf, the daddy dire wolf, and with his movement now no longer hindered, he's able to back up a little bit and shove off the small baby wolf, and he is no longer grabbed and grappled by either of them. So now it is Magdalene's turn.
Okay, Magdalene's turn. Okay. All right. So actually, she is going to, seeing that all of her party members are engaged here, she is going to, for a free action, drop her sling.
Okay.
And then she's going to move 5, 10, 15. There, because her speed's only 20.
Okay.
Actually, no, she's going to move up. She'll move up there a little bit. But since she is, she actually has an ability called Gang Up.
That does put her into a flanked position.
Oh, true. True right there.
Okay.
Because for her, any enemy that's fighting melee with any other members of her group are flat-footed to her.
Oh,
they're
okay,
engaged
cool.
in combat.
Cool.
So she is then going to take her dagger, quick draw as she runs, and stab at this wolfie right here.
Okay.
That's attacking Bruce.
Okay.
And that is a 19 plus 18.
Oh, jeez.
So that's a 37.
Yeah, that's a critical hit.
Which she gets...
Wait, a 37?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a critical hit. Especially with them being flat-footed.
So that does 15 points of piercing damage.
Plus strength.
No, that'd be a finesse weapon, so it wouldn't be.
Oh,
strength
okay.
on that.
Are we doing...
Oh, no, it is a short sword. But
is she attacking with... What is she attacking with?
Her short sword.
Okay, so that's that...
I think it does add her strength, but I don't think she has anything on her strength here.
She
Oh, she has strength of 4. Oh, no, it generally on these it adds in.
Oh, did it add it on that
Yeah,
sheet?
it's in
Okay,
already.
cool. Awesome.
But then she also gets 2d6 precision damage to flat-footed creatures.
Nice.
So she had 15 plus 4 is 19 plus another 6 is 25.
That's 50 points of damage.
50 points of damage.
Jeez. Okay. What would you like the final strike to be?
So seeing that the dog is there, and I think it's still got Bruce in its mouth.
Yes, it does.
So she just comes up with her dagger and runs up and then jumps on this wolf, which is way bigger than she is, and just jabs it down straight into the jugular vein, rips out the knife as blood starts to spurt from this wolf.
So as the knife dives into the throat of this wolf, you hear it go, "Ah!" and it lets go of Bruce, and as it rips out, you hear this dying as it tries to make a final sound, and that kitty dire wolf is
Boom.
dead. All right, we are down with that.
And I think that is
all
her
the
action. Move,
no
attack. She has one action.
She has
left.
one action left. If you would like to take it, if not, she can just hang out there.
No, she will definitely.
She
take it.
could move again to bring either of those flat-footed.
Well, they're already flat-footed to her because they're engaged with.
No, to Az. Or Ulfric, because they're
Yeah,
going
she'll
next.
move. She'll move around here to allow it's both of them to be flat-footed.
They're both flat-footed at that point. Okay, cool. All right, so next is Ulfric. So Ulfric is going to attack. He's kind of shaking off these wounds a little bit. He's trying to get his head back in the game, and he's going to go after Daddy Direwolf with his falchion attack. He's going to sweep it down, coming from the side to try and swipe at this direwolf. And that is a 14 plus 13. So yeah, that hits. Okay. So the sword comes down in a beautiful arc, and he deals 11 points of damage against this wolf. So that is, hold on, math. I have a calculator. Nope, that is wrong. Hold on a second. No! Okay, and then for his second action, he is actually, he's going to take a few steps back because he is hurting. And so will you move him back 3 squares? So he's now back by the tent. And for his third action, he is going to pull out his crossbow and ready it for the next round.
Okay. So one action to pull it out, and then be another action to load.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so in this round, he pulled it out.
Yep.
So next up is Anna.
All right.
So Anna, pissed off beyond belief that the stupid freaking thing that she had sympathy for, she's gonna turn and yell back at Az and say, "Did you see that?" And then she is going to come straight
It's
down.
not a sweet little doggy, Anna.
She's going to come straight down with the sword and attack with a 26, which definitely hits this thing. And that's a 10 and a 10 to do 20 points of damage against this this wolf. Which is funny because there's only 4 points left. So she brings the sword straight down, and she like flipped it in her hand so that it's going straight point in, and she brings it right down through the back of the spine and through the neck, and like pins the thing to the ground, and it gives a very whimpery like as it dies pretty instantly. She pulls it back out and turns around and shouts at you as a free action, just like, "Do you need me?"
Yes, additional help might be useful.
All right. And then she is going to take her second action, is going to run across. And her third action, she is going to yell at Bruce. And she's going to say, "Bruce, attack!" And Bruce is going to turn and follow her and is going
Here.
to attack the wolf that is just in front of them.
Alright.
Okay. So he comes bounding down, jaws like teeth bared, jaws like open, like and is going after the dire wolf in front of Az. However, I don't think that hits. Nope, that is a 17. So as he gets up, because of the previous injuries that he'd had, he is not able to move as fast as he normally would, and he misses the wolf by just a hair as it dances out of the way, away from Bruce. And then it is now going to go to you, Az.
All right. So Az is going to back up.
Okay.
And get like right next to the tent because he's not ready to be attacked there. And then I'm going to use my last 2 actions to actually cast Electric Arc.
Okay.
Which will hit at those 2. They have to do a reflex save.
Okay. Three. Oh, reflex save. Sorry.
Yeah.
What's the DC on the reflex?
20. Yeah, 20.
Okay. That failed. And that failed. That failed. Oh, 2 twos in a row.
19 points of damage
Okay.
with a flippin' cantrip.
Nice.
So they both take that.
Okay. They are both starting to look pretty rough as the electricity goes through their bodies. It's shaking them, and they're both feeling they're both kind of feeling that buzz, and they're a little buzzed. I'm so funny.
Shocking.
All right, so that
Took you a moment to catch that.
it did. I'm not very quick on the uptake with the dad jokes. So the electric arc, that's 2, so that's the end of your turn.
Yes, it's the end of my
Okay.
turn.
All right. Dire Wolf Daddy is going to come actually bounding up to... Actually, yeah, he is going to attack you as he did see... Well...
Roll assign each person to a dice thing and roll it.
Okay, no, he's going to attack Ulfric.
All right.
Okay, so he's going to move forward to Ulfric, and he is going to go after the man that he sees as the most dangerous. And he is going to attack with his jaws. And that is a natural 20.
Oh,
so
no.
he gets... Is that a crit on Ulfric, though? That is the question.
If it's a success, it jumps it to a crit.
Yeah, that is a critical against Ulfric. Jeez, man. That guy, he can't get a break. So the wolf comes again, and this time, instead of going at exactly the same place he had been at before on the thigh, he goes a little under and goes and grabs the inner part of his thigh and slices straight down into the meat of his leg, very, very close to the arterial vein in his leg. So let's see if he actually hit it. Of course. Hold on.
Max damage?
Yep. So, this is 3. Okay. So that was 10, so that's 16, 19. Jeez.
Direwolf doing some damage to him.
Freak.
I'm glad they didn't attack me.
Yeah. Ulfric, as the wolf comes in and bites into his leg, there is a slight pop as the eye tooth goes straight into the arterial vein, and blood begins gushing, pulsating out of Ulfric's leg, and he goes straight down, and he is unconscious.
All right.
Will you lay him down for me?
Bip.
Okay.
Do we have a dying condition?
You, and Ulfric is dying. Okay. So that was 1, 2 moves. Now his quarry is down.
Dang it.
He is going to turn to you and attack again. This time, of course, with the second attack penalty. Jeez. That is not going to hit you.
Yay!
That was a 3. That was a 3 plus 10, 12, so it's 15.
All right.
So that does not hit you. So he goes to go at you, but the amount of blood that is covering his maw is unable to get purchase on you as he goes for a bite. Second wolf is going to turn towards the wolf, or towards Bruce, who is up close and real personal with this guy right now, and he's going to attack with Jaws. And that is a 20 to hit, which hits Bruce. The Jaws come down and attack, getting once again right down against Bruce's neck and grabs at his jugular once again, getting purchase against him, and does 14 points of damage.
Dang.
Sheesh. Poor Bruce. We can't lose Bruce. Can Bruce have Anna's hero point? We will discuss that at a later point. If that's going to be allowable or not. And then for its second action, it will do the worrying again against Bruce for an additional D10 plus 2.
Oh, jeez.
That's 8, so another 10 points of damage. At this point, Bruce is
Down.
whimpering and just like constant. He turns and looks and psychically
Wait.
reaches out.
It attacked someone next to you.
Attack of opportunity.
Or glimpse of redemption. You can do both.
I know I can do one or the other. I can't
Well, yeah,
do both.
you pick one.
I think right now she's gonna attack him back. So as that is all happening, and Ulfric's voice reaches out to her and says, "Oh no, okay."
Bruce's that voice does?
Yeah, because
You said
they
Ulfric.
speak telepathically.
You said his name.
Oh, sorry, Bruce. Bruce reaches out to Anna and says telepathically, "Oh, I'm not okay." And Anna, in a fury, using attack of opportunity, does attack at him. And that is a 10, 26, and that does hit.
There we go.
So with the sword swinging down, wow, that's awesome.
Max damage?
Yep.
Max damage.
So that is 14 points of damage against this little guy. And as the sword comes down against it, it breaks, hits back in that force, and she slices straight through, and it crumples to the ground. Go ahead and knock that thing over for me.
Boom.
And it is dead. It releases Bruce, and you hear him just and Anna, unable to disengage from combat yet, just says quietly to him, it's all right, Haz will fix it, it's fine, it's okay." And we are now top of the round.
We have one more over here.
Farmer Magdalene.
Farmer Magdalene, seeing this, she is going to, she's got her daggers out. She's just going to, her short sword, she's just going to run straight at this thing once again, jumping on its back to then put in that short sword. Ooh, but that's a 3.
Oh.
But plus 18 on her attack.
What?
So it's still a 21 at 3.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that hits. Roll for damage.
She's a
Farmer Magdalene. She's
she's
a powerhouse,
powerful,
man.
yeah. That's a 5 plus 10. So a 15 plus your 2d6 of precision damage.
Okay,
Which
don't.
7.
How are you killing
Boom!
this
She
thing?
does again. She takes the as she runs up behind. She takes her short sword over the head, jump on its back, and pierce straight through the neck, through the spine, and down as it just and falls. Not even a whimper to
Yep.
be heard.
You sever that spinal column. as it collapses onto the ground, we are now officially out of combat.
The moment that thing falls, and he knows it's dead, here's her. She cracks it as she pulls, wiggles the sword a little bit, and then pulls it out. As then looking around, seeing, Bruce whimpering over there, bleeding, looks next to him, sees,
Ulfric is
3-action burst heal.
nice.
30 feet around of me.
Okay, will that hit?
Yeah, that'll hit everyone.
Yeah, 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah. Yep, that hits everybody. Okay.
So what's a 30-foot burst?
But isn't that
I'll take a couple steps to right
move
there.
steps out? Okay.
And then
All right.
30-foot burst it.
Okay, cool.
So with that, I will do 3d8 healing.
Okay.
4, 6, that's 10. 17 points of healing
Okay.
to both of them.
All
Or
right.
to everyone in the circle.
So as the this is arcane, right?
No, this is
This is-
Nethys. He yells out to Nethys, god of magic. Nethys, god of magic, heal! And then just
And
blasts
so
out around him.
there's like a shockwave of divine magic that goes outwards from as being the center point of it, and Bruce heals immediately. His throat closes back over the opening jaw marks. The fur kind of comes back in, and Ulfric, you hear him go,
Anna, is Bruce good?
and Anna immediately down on the ground next to him, and she's touching him. She's like, yes, he's fine. He's fine. Go help Ulfric.
Yeah, he's gonna run over and immediately begin medicine check to treat his wounds.
So Ulfric,
on
is it
Ulfric.
just that 18 that you had before? So
Yes.
so the arterial vein has healed into itself, but there are still major gashes and wounds covering his leg and his upper shoulder where the two wolves took him down.
All right, and so I'm going to roll for a treat wounds.
Okay.
And that's a 7 plus my 10, so that's 17.
Okay.
So that succeeds.
So it's
So then I get to do 2 d8 healed, and the wounded condition will be removed from
Okay.
him. So
All right, give
6,
me the
and a 13 points.
an additional 13 points.
of healing to him.
Okay.
And as I get down there and begin to treat him, this is going to take some time to get you back up to full. Take it easy for the moment.
And he sits up and moves his shoulder a little bit, and he says, "No, this is good. This is fine. I'll heal up the rest of the way. It's fine. Thank you." And
I am the medical professional here. You will listen. And I'm going to pop my hand on his chest, and since I know it's the end of the day, I'm going to pop a 2-action heal.
wow, he's only 12 down at this point.
That's fine. The
'Kay.
2-action heal will work on that. So with that, even with just the base plus 8s that he gets, he's a full.
Yeah. Okay, so then he is back up to full health.
And so with that,
Bruce?
as after he does this again, he's like, I am the medical professional here. Death is god of magic. Healed. And so he puts it on his chest. You see how he has the burst straight into him. He says, now you are healed. And then he stands up.
He's like, all right. Okay, thank you. And Anna shouts over at you and says, do you happen to have anything else, as Bruce is still...
Bruce is yes, I run over to Bruce. I'm not sure if I can can I do a medicine check on an animal?
I don't know.
I mean, there's nothing in the rules that says I can't, so I'm gonna
Well,
say I can.
Anna watches your slight hesitation, and she says, hold on just a second. And she puts her hand on Bruce and closes her eyes and just says, phew. And from her hand, the warmth of the the divine magic from Pharasma goes into Bruce and heals him for 18 points of health, which puts him 2 under.
All right,
so
cool.
He's good. All right. And Anna stands up and says, Magdalene, you're all right. Right? Magdalene just nods and she's wiping her short sword off onto her thigh and she says, yup, I'm fine.
Oh, Magdalene, I have something now that might help with that. And puts out his hand and says, Nephis, god of magic, make clean what is. And
Did
then
you learn prestidigitation?
Yeah, I went and took it today.
Finally!
Cast prestidigitation on her and on the weapon to clean up the blood and everything that is left.
Finally,
from that.
thank you. Will you get us out of the music?
Yes.
The action music. As everyone is healed and Farmer Magdalene kind of looks around and says, I think we're okay at this point. Sir Michael pokes his head out of the tent and kind of shouts out into the space. He says, we could hear the fighting. Is everything okay?
We are all well. There is nothing to worry about.
And Ulfric, you hear Ulfric kind of say under his breath a little bit, yeah, because of you. And kind of, you can get this sense that he's a little miffed at the fact that he went down again. However, I would like to say, as the GM, good job at not dying.
I didn't take any
time.
damage.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, you threw a couple melee fighters in front of him, so
I know.
that kind of helped.
I know. So, Darren C., thank you so much for the hero points. However, Az didn't need him tonight, which is awesome. This is literally the first time we've had combat that he has not gone down.
The one difficulty of having a two-person party with one melee and one squishy spellcaster is if the bad guys pay attention to me at all, I'm probably going down.
Yeah, and this is only our second fight with NPCs.
Yep.
But as you guys all realize that the rain is actually also stopped, and there's a slight haze on the distance of the sun coming up for the morning, and that is where we are going to end our session tonight. But we will be picking this up next week in exactly the same place, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. That was fun.
That was
finally got to use my dire wolves.
Thank you for watching. Thank you again, Darren C., for the hero points.
Thank you, Darren C., and thank you for our follower that came halfway through the show. What was that? Zirkin _120, and our other follower, JRC Chicago. Thank you guys so much for following. We really, really appreciate it. And we are still 2 subscribers away from our special watch party. So stop just like being in my mind for a half a second. Anyway, so we hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Darren C. We really do appreciate it. We will see you on Thursday.
Yes,
because we are going to be doing our interview where we're going to get to talk about all things tabletop RPG and life of being married. And
if you want to watch Hayley as a Southern Belle barbarian,
adorable Southern Belle barbarian who's 5'2" with eyes of blue. Be
sure to check in on Friday at 6 p.m.
Yes, that one's 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And that I will be hosting it here, or you can go over to Midlife Dice's or Midlife_Dice's channel, and that is where it will be streamed live, where you can join in the chat and all that jazz. So,
all right. Well, I think that's all for tonight. So just remember, everyone, that it only takes 2.
Good night, you guys.